taxfreegov.com.
Fuck a middleman.
Welcome to another episode of The Plug. You're tuned in with your host, Tommy Monte. I'd like to thank everybody for downloading the podcast. It's April the 16th, day after tax day. Hope everybody got their taxes into the IRS, even though I talk that tax-free nonsense. I am paying taxes until further notice because I'm not trying to end up jammed up. Can't help nobody behind bars, you know. So I finally went to H&R Block, put my taxes in. I don't know why I wait to the end every year. I think it's a habit I picked up from my parents because they was always on because they had businesses. Or my dad, he was a carpenter, and it was hard for him to keep his funds appropriately tracked. So he would always push it off to the last minute. I remember going to drop off taxes in the mail at midnight. So that's what I was growing up doing. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Apple don't fall far from the tree. Ooh-wee. Anyway, that's just in the current news. Hope everybody doing good today. This past Saturday, I went to the new Better Family Life Center. It's on Page. It's on Page. It seems like it's an old school building that they took over, remodeled, got the building looking amazing. One of the women who spoke at the event I went to said it takes a little over 18 grand a month, not 1800. She said 18 grand to keep the building running, and she said they struggle to pay their bills every month. Now, turn on the radio and listen to how much money people brag about, and it just makes me wonder why the money is not going to programs and establishments and institutions such as the new Better Family Life Center. So, anyway, I went to the new Better Family Life Center because the program that the new African Paradigm was hosting that brought Dr. Umar Johnson to St. Louis. I hope you're familiar with Dr. Umar Johnson. If you're not, I'm going to play a clip from Dr. Umar to get you familiar with who he is and what he's about and what he stands for. And, you know, you can be your judge from there. But I just thought it was so sad that none of the major radio stations were at this event. Now, they can be at any pointless concert that comes to the city, but when somebody's coming that's trying to organize plans to make the schooling better for black children and combat what's going on in our neighborhoods, none of the radio stations that play hip-hop, rap were there. So no other radio station was there. Can't expect the country radio stations to be there or the punk rock if the hip-hop ain't there. But on the radio station yesterday, they were talking about a sex tape that they shouldn't even be talking about at 7 in the morning. So I just don't find where the relevancy is on these radio stations. I'm going to call you out. St. Louis's 104.1 is on some bullshit. And people need to start calling in and requesting different music and requesting more content on the radio because they are part of the problem. They are not the complete problem, but they are feeding the monster. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to kick it to some Dr. Umar because he did say a lot of positive things. He came here and said that he actually did. He made the first step in organizing a St. Louis Parents Association, and basically what he wants to do with that is have a group of parents or non-parents who just care about kids, and they keep track of what's going on in the public schools, who's getting suspended, what teachers are doing it, what schools are doing it the most. It's just basically I would want to say an arbitration system, a system of arbitration basically that's beyond the St. Louis public school system, organizing people to the point to where we're represented as a group more so than you're going in there as just Miss Jones or Miss Sampson or Miss Turner or something. Just as a person going in there representing your kid, you're going in there with a representative of a group behind you. And I felt that. And he also was stating how we need to come together and make some type of black credit union so all our money is in our banks and it's being used in our interest instead of our money being in Bank of America or National City PNC, that National City is all. So and having your money in these banking institutions that won't give you loans for businesses and they're pushing you out of your neighborhoods and not doing anything to give back, just taking. You know, I opened up a savings account, and they told me if I don't keep $400 in it a month, they're going to charge me $4 a month in a savings account. And this is just me saving my money. It's not like they're giving me money to save and things of that nature. Why are you charging me money to hold my money that you finna go give to somebody else? I'm not stupid. Anyway, I'm not going to get sidetracked. I'm going to let us listen to some Dr. Umar. I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about some science, some technology news. And I also got a topic that I want to run by you just to open your mind up and get you thinking out of the box for a quick second. All right, that's the plug, Tommy Monte. Stay locked in.
TaxFreeGov.com. Now, what are the 5 families of the black bourgeoisie? Because there's 5 families. Just like the Italian mafia has 5 families, we got 5 families. Okay? There is the entertainment aristocracy. These are black people who are well placed in entertainment. Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey, Bob, LeBron James. This is the entertainment aristocracy. These are blacks who get rich through entertainment and athletics, and their job is to do what? Deflect all attention away from white people as being responsible for the condition of black people. As you notice, Oprah Winfrey, her whole career was based on what? Catering to white women. That's how white supremacy operates. Here's a black woman, but her whole show caters to white women. That's what white supremacy is supposed to do. Look at Jay-Z. He got all these albums out here. Pussy, bitch, hoe, all these negative terms, downgrading black women, talking about dark-skinned black women, how he sold drugs, shotguns, boom, 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 boom. But all that is okay. Why is it okay? Because Jay-Z was willing to work with the owners of the Barclay system there to build that stadium and move all those poor black people out the way. So because Jay-Z was willing to do the bidding for white folks and becoming a Mason, he could really even do even more bidding for white people, okay? He is okay for him to curse and to put black people down because he's working for them now. He's on the inside. He's Obama's hip-hop person who keeps all the Negroes in check in the hip-hop industry. That's who he is. He's the Al Sharpton of the hip-hop world. Is black people with money. Rich blacks with money. You're normally looking at $500 million or more. Now, some blacks belong to multiple categories. Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Cosby, Bob Johnson, they belong to multiple categories. They belong to entertainment. They also belong to Negroes with money category. These are black people with millions of dollars, and they never give that money to anything worthwhile. They know Umar Johnson trying to build a school, but they ain't wrote a check. They know that there's different institutions we need in our community, but they ain't wrote a check. Why is it that you never see athletes and entertainers and rich black people do anything to help the neighborhood? Because the number one rule to being rich and black in America, if you want to stay rich and black, never use your money to help your own people. Never. If you want to help black people, do it in Africa. You want to help black people, go to the Caribbean. You want to help black people, go to England. You want to help black people, go to Canada. But you better never be caught using your money to help improve the condition of black people. That's why Jay-Z went to Africa and he done something for one of the villages in Africa. That was real nice, but he ain't do a damn thing for Brooklyn. Oprah Winfrey went to South Africa. She built the school. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a Pan-Africanist. But you're based in Chicago with the worst school system in America, one of the worst in the world. You didn't do nothing for them. This is what they do. And then you turn on the TV, what do you see? LeBron James and Kobe Bryant posing with white kids. If you notice, every time they show you an NBA Cares program, you always see black athletes helping white children. There might be one token black, but most of the time it's white. Why can't they help their own damn children? Because it's against the rules of white supremacy. If you want to be a rich black person, enjoy your money, spend your money, but don't spend it on your own kind. TaxFreeGov.com.
Welcome back to The Plug. You're tuned in with Tommy Monte at TaxFreeGov.com. Everything that we do here on The Plug will be available for download for free at TaxFreeGov.com. A lot of people think it's taxfree.gov, but it's not that. You know, I'm not affiliated with the Gov, but I'm playing off of that. Anyway, I'm coming here to do a little tech talk with you, a little tech news, talking about Panasonic's robotic bed wheelchair. You know, this here is it's taking it to a new level. So it's a robotic chair that is made for older, elderly people, so to speak, but it can also be used for someone who is handicapped, I guess, as well. But it's directed at for people in China. In Japan, due to the fact in Japan they're coming up on a time where they're finna have a boom of elderly people. So I guess they had a surplus of people maybe 50, 60 years ago. Now those people are about to become elderly. So they're trying to prepare for that, something that I'm going to talk about later on in the show. So what they're doing to prepare for the elderly people is they're putting money into ingenuity as far as robots. So if you're a person in the nursing field, if you do medical assistance, they're finding ways to weed your job out. So instead of you lifting the patient in and out of the bed, now they have this robotic chair that basically is a bed / wheelchair. So it doesn't even need you to push them. I mean, they're just taking it to the extreme levels like never before. And that's why I'm stating, I got this particular article at gizmag.com. That's GIZMAG.com. They got a lot of hip, nifty things at gizmag.com. And I like to check them out because they always have something on there that is of value, especially if you're in a mind of thinking out of the box. They always talk about new tech items that are coming out. They did a review on the Samsung Gear 2 smartwatch. So, I mean, this is a place to go to. I mean, if you have kids who like cool things, or if you're a person yourself who like cool things, this will be a great website to indulge in. It doesn't have fights on it like your World Star Hip Hop. You won't see any twerk videos on it, but you will get some valuable information from it, as well as just you'll be in the in crowd. Let's put it like that. You'll know about information. You'll know about things that are conversation worthy. You'll be able to tell people that Toyota is working on an engine that delivers 78 miles per gallon, with gas. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that you can provide with people in a conversation that'll have you, looking like you're in another league. That's gizmag.com. I want to just elaborate on something that I was stating when I was explaining the Panasonic robotic bed chair. 50 years. That's basically what I want people to think about. 50 years from now. So that's not a long time from now. So if you have kids who are newborn, just born, think 50 years. If they're 5 years old, what would my kids be doing when they're 55? I know you can't even think what you'll be doing when you're 55, but you really need to be thinking about 50 years from now. Who's going to be in control of the oil? Are we still going to be using oil? Are the jobs that you're applying for going to have you in high demand in a society that doesn't need jobs? Do you know how to build robots? Do you know anything about robots? Are you familiarizing yourself with computers? All right, now skip out the computer world. Do you know anything about agriculture, horticulture, or just indoor gardening? Anything of the sort as far as keeping up with the curve? Do you know how to purify water? Do you know how to find fresh water? Properly store food for months. I mean, these are things that we need to be thinking of. Like, I kind of feel deprived just due to the fact my previous generations, as far as my grandmother's generation, my mom's generation to an extent, they had a knowledge of working in knowledge of living off the land to an extent. They grew their own vegetables, food, things of that sort. So they know things that I don't know. And I feel like I should know that, plus the computer knowledge that I was exposed to in my age. So I should have the knowledge from the past world combined with the new world. But the way we are as black people, once we learn something new, we look down on what made us or kept us alive generations before. And I think it's going to make us more powerful if we combine all of the knowledge that we know and just try to weed out the bullshit but pass on the positive stuff, and that'll make us better people. That's just my opinion. But like I said, that's just 50 years. So that's just something to think about. 50 years. Because 50 years ago, we had Martin Luther King marching in the streets. JFK was murdered. 50 years. You have a lot of people who said, I can't even imagine not being able to eat at the restaurant that I want to eat at. You know? So that was just 50 years ago. And that's not long ago. You know, people have voting issues. We had to go with a civil rights bill. Just 30 years ago, in certain areas, you couldn't walk around openly gay. Now, I mean, it's all over TV and everything of the sort. And that was less than 30 years ago. Times are changing, and they're changing fast. So you're either keeping up with the curve, or you don't even know it's a curve. So I'm just trying to make sure I keep the, things going that I notice and things that I come across. I try to share them with people. Now, earlier in the show, I said I went to see Dr. Umar. Now, I got a chance to speak with some members of the new Black Panther Party, the St. Louis chapter. They are some good people. They gave me their agenda. Basically, they're trying to arrange to do a scholarship fund. I want to try to get the information on that. I'll get that for you. Basically, they're stating all the money that they get for these funds are never used for personal reasons. They even encouraging, if you don't want to donate to them, to try to find a nonprofit to help or something of the sort. But I do want to look further into the Black Panther Party and see exactly what they have going on. They're calling their initiative the RBG, R as in Robert, B as in boy, G as in girl. The RBG initiative, red, black, and green is what I should have said. The RBG initiative is a community-driven, non-profit organization based in St. Louis, Missouri. It was created to give our concerned citizens an outlet to address and prescribe treatment for what ails our communities. In addition to our efforts to repair our damaged inner city areas, we have begun to realize how crucial it is for us to also support our youth. This began the RBG Initiative Scholarship Fund. We have challenged ourselves and our community to help us raise $10,000 by August. So I'm guessing this would be August of 2014. And if you're listening to this show, if you want to definitely support the RBG initiative, please email them at rbg.initiative@gmail.com. Or you can just contact us here and definitely say something about it, and we'll forward the information along to the brothers and sisters over at the RBG Initiative Scholarship Fund for the new Black Panther Party. Now, again, I enjoyed the event. I said that it was just nice being around a different sort of audience in the St. Louis area that I really never hang out with per se myself. I was introduced to the Universal African Peoples Organization. A guy by the name of Julius approached me, gave me that paper, gave me, a rundown on what they do. And I've been looking at their newspaper. It's pretty good. Information throughout it. Their platform that they stand for is pretty lengthy, but they got a lot of things that they stand for as far as ending all types of pollution, especially industrial. So they have a broad sense of a lot of things. It's not just your average black power that you've been trained to believe, but the real black power is caring about the earth as well as the people on the earth. This world that we live in, that's all about quick. I need you here now. I need this built now. Everything is such a rush. We're rushing, and this world is going to be here for millions of years, and it's just, we have to think about more than ourselves. What are we going to leave behind 50 years, 100 years, 150 years? I mean, you can't love your kids and not love their kids and their kids. So we got to start thinking in that mind frame. And we can't be naive and as selfish as we're being, even though it's a condition. And it's not like so many of us are doing this intentionally. We're not even trained to think out of the box. We're trained to stay in the box and don't think about coming out the box. And that's really the training, and it's done subconsciously through the programs and just what they promote to us and what they tell us is not even possible. But anyway, the Universal African Peoples Organization has a lot of good things. They have on their platform, they have a preamble. The name of their paper is The African News World, and they're just basically doing a lot of positive things in the community, and I definitely appreciate this. They have an urban gardening, which I definitely love, at Wallbridge Elementary School. And if you want to find out more about that, contact them at 314-496-7861. And that's for the urban gardening program at Wallbridge Elementary School for UAPO. Again, you can. I'm trying to see if they have a website for this paper. They do. Their website is UAP as in Peter O.com. So basically, it's Universal African Peoples Organization. Break that down to UAPO.com. So UAPO.com, you'll be able to get updated on these brothers and sisters who are doing positive things amongst our community and abroad, because they're also doing work in Ghana. So I'm going to get into a deep brother who a lot of people need to introduce themselves to. I kind of feel deprived when I come across people like Dr. DeGrew or Dr. Wilson, who I'm going to introduce you to, or Kwame Toure, and I never was introduced to these people through school. I had to go find out about them as if they were some type of underground rapper or somebody's peddling smut, but they were peddling knowledge. And for you to have to go find this knowledge, you know, on your own, no school books, but, you know, they're down to push the capital of Idaho down your throat and all this other irrelevant information. It just makes no sense. But anyway, this is the plug. I'm going to get into that, and I guess we're going to close it out. I was supposed to have some guests, but things didn't go as they went, but it's okay. You know, we'll get them on. There's plenty of time here. We ain't going nowhere, and we're here for the community. So it's Tommy Monte.
TaxFreeGov.com.
Consciousness. Without human consciousness, there is no world. It is the presence of human consciousness that brings meaning into the world. Without human beings in this world, conscious human beings in this world, in effect, there would not be a world. We bring the world into being through our consciousness. And through our consciousness, we create the world we live in. Out of the totality of reality, our consciousness cuts out a world that befits itself. In other words, the kind of world you exist in reflects the kind of consciousness that you have. And notice, if you change your consciousness or change your values and orientation, you enter into a different world. You interact with different people. People often that you didn't even know existed in the world. Social situations that you might not have even recognized until you entered into a new level of consciousness. You see people, say, for instance, who become addicted, say, to crack or something, and now enter into a whole world and enter into a whole social system that before they became addicted, they hardly noticed. They didn't know what it was all about. And they picked up new friends and new relations, whole new ways of acting, whole new purposes in life. They lost old friends, broke with old families, all kinds of things. In other words, the consciousness, that addictive consciousness, brought into the world a new foreground and put other things into the background. Therefore, man's consciousness is a creative act. And the kind of consciousness you have will determine the kind of world you create. All right. And consequently, when you look at the world that we live in, African people, we must recognize to a great extent it is a world of our own creation. All right. It is a world that has been generated by the type of consciousness we've been permitted to be instilled in us as a people. Right. As I told you earlier today on the radio, we talk about the white man as having power. And I want you to recognize that power ultimately has to do with a relationship between people. And that the white man's so-called power is to a great extent based upon the nature of the relationship he has with the black man. We empower him by the nature of our own behavior and attitudes as a people. He cannot be, as I said earlier, what he is unless we are what we are. And Tommy, to a good extent, the European is our creation. Yes. If we look at our behavior, we will see that to a good extent it is our behavior, our values, our consciousness, the kind of personalities we've established in ourselves, our tastes, our desires and needs that maintain the European in this position. All right. We talked about the civil rights movement and the apartheid system of the South. When blacks decided just to get out of the buses and walk, the system changed. Yes. When they just stopped sitting behind the white driver, just changing that relationship, changed the nature of power in that system. When they decided then to walk side by side, when they decided to walk abreast and line themselves up, because they had not walked that way before, for the end before the relationship changed. When they kept their monies in their pockets, when they sat on those stools and blocked the other people from them, and changed the nature of the interactions between themselves and Europeans, the nature of the system changed. So therefore we have tremendous power. It depends upon how we align ourselves as a people and how we decide to relate to other people in the world, because they cannot have what they have unless we are who we are. And that is why we don't have to spend a great deal of time always appealing to them and analyzing them, because we can better appeal to our own sense of self and our own consciousness. And we waste a lot of time trying to transform them, when through transforming ourselves, they will be transformed automatically.